script, so
Yeah, I brought my
just flip as we go. Even easier.
yeah. That's a good idea. I like that idea. Hi. No, it's okay.
Is this thing on? Apparently not. Hmm? Hello. Welcome. Yeah, this is mine. Kind of hard to see here. That's not very helpful. Good morning, students and colleagues, friends and family viewing remotely. Welcome to the English Department Awards Ceremony. Thank you for making the time to be with us this morning. And thank you, too, to the numerous families who continue to support the humanities at USNA. These include the families of Larry and Debbie Brady, Wilson Heflin, A. Stewart Pitt, Bernard Smith, and Nancy Wicker, as well as the Perrion and Schreiber families. This time last year, if you recall, no one was on the yard, students were at home, and we conducted this awards ceremony entirely online. The yard was a ghost town, and the transformations wrought by the pandemic on daily life still seemed novel. Just finishing the semester seemed like a tremendous accomplishment. A year later, it feels like we're finally coming out of that dark and difficult time. The academic year was hard, probably harder than we anticipated, with so many students sick and in ISO and in ROM, with classes online, then in person, then online, and so on, with no Thanksgiving, no spring break, and all the usual markers of the passing year gone. Most of the time, it felt like we were just getting by. And yet, it's remarkable the high levels of achievement we saw even as we were just getting by. Our professors led some amazing classes, students had meaningful, thoughtful discussions, and if we didn't manage to finish every assigned book, we still read some books we loved. Beyond that, we created some powerful experiences of public-facing art and storytelling, like the inaugural My USNA Story event, which allowed us to hear 5 midshipmen talk from the heart about their experiences of race. Like The Masqueraders' magical out-of-doors production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, which seemed to weather every sort of disaster before it took our breath away on opening night. Like the marathon reading of Paradise Lost, and like the forthcoming Gender Matters podcast and publication of Labyrinth. And so while it's tempting to liken ourselves to brood 10 cicadas, emerging from our isolated underground life, shedding our skins, and flying out to meet one another, the analogy doesn't do justice to the life, the struggles, and the successes of this past year. We are not, in Ogden Nash's phrase, insect debutantes. We are battle-tested survivors. The awards we are presenting today testify to our ability to survive and to thrive. I'd like to introduce Professor Allison Booth, who will now present the Bernard Smith Plebe Essay Prize.
Good morning. Oh, thank you. The English department sponsors an annual contest for the best essay written in fall and spring semester plebe English courses. Each of the 2 prize winners receives $100 from an endowment given to the Naval Academy Writing Center in honor of Bernard E. Smith, class of 1947. In the fall semester, the plebe curriculum committee settled on an essay that June Jordet wrote for Lieutenant Marissa Cruz Lamar in HE 111. The winning essay, Dear Aline, recasts Ta-Nehisi Coates' Letter to My Son as a letter to a sister. The committee does not usually choose a personal essay, but this one was so eloquent and showed such a sophisticated awareness of its audience that it kept rising to the top. The judges appreciated June's extraordinary ability to imitate Coates' style with completely original material. June, congratulations on your lovely essay. The spring winner is Tim Farron, one of John Beckman's HE 112S students, for his essay, wait for this title, For the Love of God, Quit Your Books. A close reading of Wordsworth's The Tables Turned, the paper zeroes in on the poem's language with insight and humor, beginning with the funny tension generated by a text that opens by instructing a reader to stop reading. Tim moves on to think through Wordsworth's religious vocabulary and interesting use of gendered pronouns. The judges were impressed by the writer's willingness to slow down and attend to details, figuring out and then beautifully articulating how the poem is put together. Well done, Tim.
And next, I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Commander Phil Garrow, who will present the John Wooten Prize.
The English department sponsors an annual essay contest for its Gateway courses, named in memory and honor of Professor John Wooten, a longtime member of the faculty and a teacher devoted to the development of our newest majors. The first prize is $200. But first, we would like to recognize some honorable mentions. If you can please come to the stage when your name is called. Midshipman Melissa Linzell for her essay, Colonialism in Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, A Time-Honored Tradition of Blood. Midshipman Lauren Augusta Makoff for her essay, Beneath the Surface of Sexuality in Beloved. And Midshipman Ariana Smith for The Uncanny Fear of Ghosthood.
Move forward a little.
The representatives of the UDHCC have selected Midshipman Elizabeth Libby Miller as the winner of this year's Wooten Prize for her essay, A Gynocentric Take on an Androcentric Theory, Fetishism in the Woman Warrior. The judges of the Wooten Prize were highly impressed by the sophisticated manner with which the winning essay recognized that Maxine Hong Kingston's memoir collection, The Woman Warrior, subverts the male-centered Freudian structure by arguing that no substitution for the loss is provided, and that this absence is essential to the development of the female narrator. It's an innovative tactic which was rendered all the more powerful via particular references to Kingston's own Chinese heritage, as well as her developing feminine identity. If you could please join us on the stage.
Next, Lieutenant Commander Caitlin Foster will recognize the recipients of the Nancy Wicker Prize.
The English department sponsors a prize awarded to the English major who writes the best essay in a senior seminar course. The prize is named in honor of Professor Nancy Wicker, a longtime faculty member, and is formally awarded at the HMSS Division Prizes and Awards ceremony. The prize is $200, $100 each from the Bernard Smith Fund, and a separate endowment. This year's honorable mention goes to Midshipman First Class Emma Hutchinson for her essay, The SNL Effect, Media Representation of Palin and Clinton in the 2008 Election. You can please come to the stage. And the winner of this year's Wicker Prize is First Class Colton Vandermeid for his essay, Paredes on the Border of Nations and Nationalities. The judges of the Wicker Prize were enthusiastic in their support of Midshipman Vandermeid's sophisticated analysis of the way in which land disputes, systematic racism, and the American educational system intersect to reaffirm the divisions and inequities between Anglo-Texans and Mexican Americans claiming the Rio Grande Valley as home. A particular strength of Vandermeid's examination is his critique of how Gualento's family encourages the protagonist's continued education as a means to lifting his family out of poverty, while that very curriculum weaves anti-Mexican stereotypes and perspectives into Texas history so as to shame Mexican-American students away from identifying with their cultural heritage and families.
Our next award is the A. Stuart Pitt Memorial Poetry Award, presented by Professor John Beckman.
Thank you. In an ordinary year, this is the second year we haven't had an ordinary year, you would probably have, ideally, a copy of the Labyrinth Literary Magazine on your seats right now, and so you'd be able to read the Pitt Prize and possibly honorable mentions and other things. And this year, the Labyrinth is still being laid out. I heard from the editor-in-chief, Kat Stujenski, on some sort of cruise ship in the middle of the Atlantic right now. So it's a little bit delayed this year, but it's an extraordinary magazine, so look for it. It'll be in digital copy and hard copy, and it'll feature at least one of today's poems in its pages. The Pitt Memorial Poetry Competition is conducted under the auspices of the Academy of American Poets, which sponsors individual poetry contests at colleges across the nation. The competition at the Naval Academy was established in memory of Professor A. Stuart Pitt, the first chair of the English department, and a member of the faculty for 37 years before his death in 1978. First prize is $200, granted from the Academy of American Poets. First, we will recognize the following honorable mentions, and if you can please come to the stage. I'm going to say a couple things about your poems, too. Third class Lily Hirth can't be with us today, but she's very much present, and we're hoping that she is watching from a computer somewhere. And also midshipman third class Elizabeth Treese, and midshipman first class Kayla Eshelman. It's Rotten Work by third class Lily Hirth is a poem whose bold statement of forbidden love calls on classical and biblical sources to make its case, but it never overreaches, and its blunt confessions are tender and fresh. And I'm going to read a little bit of that one now. It's Rotten Work. Where all of Mother Nature can see, let me care for you with green sun dappled on our skin. Let me lay with you in the golden fields, Orestes. I shall be your Pylades, and I will care for you. In all the places that you love me, stain with scarlet blood our pride and hope across the canvas. Understand how pleasant and uncommon it is, this sin so gentle and sweet. And this is the concluding quatrain. And you claim it's rotten work, but the only foul thing is the storm, the face of an onlooker condemning us to die. Loving you is no rotten work for me. Second honorable mention is Let Me Rest, another very brief poem. I'm going to read it in its entirety, by Elizabeth Treese. This brief, understated, and beautifully personal lyric resolves its frankly stated emotions in a perfectly controlled final image. Let me rest. I don't want to dance on my own anymore. My feet are tired from always balancing on my toes. My arms are tired from constantly holding up my shadow, trying to teach her the steps. I need someone else to lean on before I burn out like a delicate filament, a quiet flicker, then a burst, then I'm gone. And the final honorable mention is by first class Kayla Eshelman, Standing Orders. This remarkably concise and nimble villanelle dances among perspectives and war's ethical dilemmas with a closing quatrain all its own, but reminiscent of Wilfred Owen's Dulce et Decorum Est. I'm going to read this in its entirety, too, because it's for a villanelle, actually quite brief and powerful in its entirety. But, sir, are you sure napalm and flamethrowers scorch human flesh? An order is an order. In the Afghan hills, Luttrell set the goat herders free. But, sir, are you sure? Bombs fall from above on innocents below. An order is an order. The sniper hesitates on the young boy holding a rocket. But, sir, are you sure? Atrocities are kept out of sight in the countryside of Germany. An order is an order. Pick up your pen. History is written by the victor. But, sir, are you sure? An order is an order. So our honorable mentions. And the winner of this year's Pitt Memorial Poetry Competition is Midshipman 4th Class Maddie Torres for her poem Exploration. Maddie? The judges were unanimous in their enthusiastic support of the winning poem, a terrific and graceful, quote, Tom Wolfe E.E. Cummings consideration of the wives of the Mercury astronauts and the female astronauts of the present day. They admired the poem's exuberance for scientific inquiry, its ability to capture cycles of history within an elegant lyrical structure, and the way it, quote, merges the styles of 1950s housewives with the spacesuits of their astronauts. Could you read the poem for us, Mary? Got a copy of it here.
Give me a second. In the years of Swing and Sinatra, nobody told the wives that the astronauts could die. But what with the flight testing and the wars, the wives knew more than they wished to know of how bravery and curiosity are a dangerous mix. How the mind likes to reach out past the clouds, stroke angels' wings, and come crashing back to the shore in foam and smoke and bits of metal. The wives, too, have tasted the air of the ionosphere, have had their lungs wrap themselves around their heart as the module plummets back into the saltwater spray. The women, too, have learned to fly with wings of their own, and watch the earth shrink under the grinding shake of jet propulsion and gravity's slipping grasp. The women, too, have been fitted for lunar gray gloves and gold visors, have practiced the worst and the best, time and time again. They, too, have spun, jumped, fallen, and glided. They, too, stand beside Armstrong and Glenn in booster orange and jumpsuit blue. The women, too, are tasting the bitter and bold of bravery and curiosity, steaming and untainted like black coffee in the afternoon. And the women, too, are learning the thrill of exploration.
One of our honorable mentions just showed up. Gets the full treatment. I think. Yeah, okay, just a moment. This is weird. Embarrassing. So, Kayla?
The next award is the Wilson L. Heflin Prize for Leadership in the Humanities, presented by Professor Audrey Wu Clark.
Good morning. The Wilson L. Heflin Prize for Leadership in the Humanities was established in 1984 to honor Professor Heflin, a noted Melville scholar and member of the faculty for 40 years. This prize is awarded annually to the midshipman who has demonstrated exceptional leadership in fostering humane studies at the Naval Academy during the preceding year. The prize consists of $400 worth of books selected to accord with the recipient's interests, a framed certificate, and a plaque permanently displayed in the English department. This year's winner of the Heflin Prize is Midshipman 2nd Class Andre Roscoe. So I'm going to have Andre stand there, and I'm going to brag about him for a little bit. I am so happy to present today's Heflin Award and would like to take a few minutes to celebrate this year's winner by giving some perspective on why we chose him. It is rare for the Heflin Prize to be awarded to a second-class midshipman. It is also rare for a second class to be nominated alongside some of the strongest first-class midshipman leaders in the brigade, but this year's winner is such a rarity. Midshipman second class Andre Roscoe established himself as the clear choice for this year's Heflin Prize because of his passion and curiosity for the humanities. Andre's strengths go beyond passion and curiosity. He is also a doer. Andre's reach in the wake of national events such as George Floyd's murder and the impact of COVID on our humane nature stood out from the rest. As a coordinator for the USNA commemoration of Black History Month, and in particular the relationship he forged with the Stockdale Center, he led the Leadership Book Club selection of The Fire Next Time, which has triggered wide-ranging and provocative discussions about race in America across the Academy. Andre is also the president of the class of 2022, a star in our spectacular gospel choir, and a representative for SHAPE. Mature and articulate, during his interview, Andre discussed how his admiration for the community and political activism of the Jewish Midshipman Club inspired his own work in the Midshipman Black Studies Club. It was a touching reflection on the comfort drawn from uniformed service. Andre is the kind of student who faculty have heard of and respect. As the faculty members stated, quote, I can think of at least 4 separate conversations with colleagues in other departments that have started, I don't know if you know the student I'm working with, Andre Roscoe, end quote. And he's a terrific slam poet too. One of the tenets of this award is for the recipient to have displayed an understanding of the potential for the humanities to enrich and inform her life and the lives of others. In Andre's case, he not only met but exceeded all of our expectations. In sum, Andre clearly loves studying literature, engineering, politics, and history, but more importantly, he consistently displays an appreciation of the humanities' ability to foster understanding between people and facilitate effective communication as a leader. We know that Andre will continue to succeed in his first class year, and whatever community is lucky to receive him in the fleet. Because of Midshipman Second Class Andre Roscoe, we will commission leaders with a kind, authentic, and humane heart, as well as a steadfast devotion to service. We know he will continue to inspire his peers and leaders alike and reflect on his time here at USNA in AY21 fondly. Andre's gratitude seems to not only have strengthened during one of the most difficult and complex years that any of us have experienced. Thank you.
And now our final award is the Van Dyke Prize. This award recognizes the graduating English major with the highest standing in the courses required for the major, and in fact has the highest CPQR of all English majors. And this year's winner of the Van Dyke Prize is Midshipman First Class Sam Paparo. This award is officially presented at the Division Awards ceremony on Wednesday, and Sam will receive a grand sword. I haven't seen the sword, but we will see the sword on Wednesday. But congratulations, Sam. And that concludes our little award ceremony. We hope to be in the English Department Library next year and see all your faces again. We're so proud of our students who did such a great job in this very difficult year. Thank you all. Farewell. This is mine. Okay.